Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Chiquita and I talk about all things fashion and lifestyle. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from this channel, and make sure to like this video as well as the others that I've posted too. So today I want to talk about my fashion icons. So I'm going to talk about 4 women who inspire my personal style. Okay, so first we're going to start with girlfriends. All the ladies on this show were killing it back in the early 2000s, and all of them have inspired my personal style. But I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into Joan Clayton, played by Tracee Ellis Ross. So both Joan Clayton and Tracee Ellis Ross, the actor that plays this character, are my fashion inspiration. So an interesting thing about Tracee Ellis Ross, I recently was checking out an interview from her not too long ago, and she said that in the early days of shooting Girlfriends, like the first season or two when the budget wasn't as big, she used to bring some of the clothes from her own wardrobe. So a lot of the fashions that you saw on Joan Clayton in that first season or two were actually from Tracee Ellis Ross's personal wardrobe. And just even more, reason why I love the two, not just the character, but the actor as well. And one of the things that inspired me more recently about Joan Clayton's style was in season 4. I was watching that not too long ago. And she had a pair of yellow pumps that she wore with a lot that season. It was like springtime, and she wore like a green dress at one point with a pair of yellow pumps. And it inspired me to pick up these shoes last year. These are a pair of yellow Manolo Blahniks. And because I couldn't figure out what particular shoe Joan had on in season 4, I knew I wanted something very similar though, something with a high heel and something with like an almond shaped toe. And none other than Manolo Blahnik has that, right? And Manolo Blahnik is such a timeless shoe. So these are a pair of satin Manolo Blahniks with the fuchsia emblem at the front. So that added even more character to it, right? But these are 105 heel height, and I have yet to wear them because, as I said in one of my last videos, I sprained my ankle earlier this year, so I haven't had a chance to wear these. So maybe I will bring these out in the spring, but I'm looking forward to wearing these with denim as well, like not just dresses or whatever it may be, but even a pair of like bell bottoms. And that is something similar about me and Joan, right? We have like this almost a similar shape, like a pear/hourglass shape. So I noticed that a lot of the things she wore in Girlfriends were things that I naturally gravitated to in my own personal wardrobe. So like a low to medium rise jean is something that I noticed that I do a lot and that Joan does a lot. And like a bell bottom or boot cut like pants that lay over a pair of heels. That is something that's like my uniform almost when I don't know what to wear and I'm getting ready to go out to a dinner or something like that. Also, Joan's character was a lawyer and she worked in corporate law. So you saw her in a lot of suits as well from time to time on the show, which I find really inspirational. Now for me, I work in the tech industry, which is very, very laid back. So I don't get to wear suits often, but I did purchase a suit last year to add to my collection that I'm looking forward to wearing in a more like glam way, I guess you could say, like judging it up, since it's not something that I would wear to an office personally. Also though, I see Tracee Ellis Ross outside of her character, right? She has to do a lot of like red carpets and different speaking events and stuff like that. And in those settings, she is able to judge up a suit. Like here, right, in this all black, I love how she wore like a belt bag with this look. That is so cute. Belt bags are something that I enjoy as well, that I plan on getting even more into. So yes, Tracee Ellis Ross / Joan Clayton, she is that girl for me. Like in the early 2000s when the show was on, I was a young kid, and now I get to like express that sense of fashion that I had back then, or inspiration that I had for that character back then. So Tracee Ellis Ross, Joan Clayton, they will always be that girl for me. Another thing that's pretty dope, right, about the Girlfriends franchise are some of the things that we saw back then that unless you were a fashion girly, it goes over your head back then. But now it's something that everybody has on their radar. Like we saw red bottoms back then in the early 2000s on Girlfriends. We saw a Birkin bag. Both Joan and Tony had Birkin bags. So they were just, that show was ahead of its time for not just like the black woman, but also just fashion as well. So while we're in the space of talking about characters, I'm going to go over to the nanny's Fran Fine, played by Fran Drescher. So this was pre-Girlfriends. Fran Fine is somebody that I definitely looked up to as a young girl. I was such a girly girl, yet a tomboy when I was growing up. So for me, it was like I loved playing with Barbie dolls. I loved admiring women who had style, but also I wore t-shirts and loved to like play outside till the sun went down in the summer and didn't care about like having my hair done or anything like that. So Fran Fine, she was like that girl for me that's like, oh, when you think about who you want to be when you grow up, who do you want to be like? And so Fran Fine, I absolutely loved her. She had this like sex kitten energy. She was a siren for sure. She also had always a high sense of confidence on that show, which I loved. And I feel like it translated into her wardrobe on that show as well. You would see her with like these Chanel like two-piece skirt sets, these mini dresses with the sheer tights, just lovely, and things that still capture you even today in 2025 from the 90s. She's also one of those fashion icons for me that always reminds me like, hey, this outfit might look good, but how does everything else look good? Is your makeup on point? Is your hair on point? I think she tied everything in very well and always had a very, very polished look. I used to wear mini skirts a lot because of her, actually. Although she is not as leggy as me, she gave me a lot of confidence, actually, to say, hey, your legs are really long. It's okay to like show them off. And so I was definitely gravitated towards the mini skirt look a lot in my earlier 20s. But even now, when I find a good mini skirt or even like a skirt set, I will definitely wear it down to the ground. So I think that's something actually I want to add to my wish list for this year is a nice mini skirt set. Something adjacent to a Chanel, but I cannot afford a Chanel skirt set. So something of high quality though that I can have in my closet for a long time. Just a staple skirt set that is not a work skirt set, of course. So Fran Fine, definitely that girl for me. One of the OGs when it comes to my fashion icon list, for sure. Okay, so the next person I'm going to go with on this list is, drum roll, I'm wondering if you can even guess this, but it's Rihanna. She is that girl. She can mix prints, colors, all of it, even different like styles in one. She can do like a urban style with glam at the same time. She doesn't even have to pick and choose to pull these together. Now, one thing about Rihanna that I'm very cognizant of when it comes to inspiring my personal style is that notion of just because your friend jumps off a cliff don't mean you need to jump off a cliff too. Are you gonna do that too? And I say that because, right, there are certain things that just Rihanna can do that none of us can do and pull off in the way that she can. And I think that is the thing about when you go into that saying of the world, there's only one you in this world. God, universe, whoever only created one you. So you have to be you. So the thing about Rihanna that captivates me and something that I emulate into my style is pushing myself out of the box. So it's not trying to, imitate what Rihanna is doing or replicate every outfit of hers. It's saying, hey, I have this glam type of look and I'm going to throw on a baseball cap with it though. And maybe like a denim jacket. I know I kind of explained what I'm wearing a little bit. This is not a glam look though, but you get the point, right? Like, how far can I push myself out of the box? I feel like this today. I don't feel super glammy. So how can I also incorporate like a tomboyish element so that when I walk out the house in this, what's supposed to be a glam look, I also feel good in it. And so that is Rihanna for me. And I often Google Rihanna street style very often. As seasons change, I'm looking to see what is Rihanna wearing now. And again, it's not to copy and paste. It's just for inspiration. Like, oh, she did that. She wore stripes. She wore stripes with a cowboy hat. Okay. And that doesn't mean I'm going to wear stripes with a cowboy hat, but it also shows like the different ways that I can play with the different pieces in my wardrobe. So that is Rihanna for me. And one of the things I love about her more recently is I'm seeing her step into a lot of things that are just comfortable. Like I see her with sometimes these big oversized jeans with like Timberlands. I want to say in the past month, I've seen some street style, some paparazzi images of her with like an oversized jacket and like oversized jeans and a pair of Timberlands, and her hair will be looking good and all of that, but she'll be very chill on like a tomboy look, and she does it her own way. And I am seeing a lot of evolution from her. Maybe it's because she's also a mom now, right? She has 2 little boys, so I'm pretty sure like certain stuff just can look different in that regard. So she's the 3rd for me on this list. All right, so the 4th person on this list is the lovely Princess Diana. What I love about Princess Diana is not just her style, but who she is on the inside. And I feel like that translates to who she is on the outside. She's always very poised and put together as well. And she's one of my tall girlies. I believe Princess Diana and I are the same height, 5'10". She used to wear the kitten heels back in the day too, which I am not opposed to, right? And she also used to do like the skirt suits here and there. Because of her lifestyle, she did have to wear a lot of formal wear, like gowns and the skirt suits and the dresses often. But she also wore like sweatpants, like biking shorts and sweatshirts. And it just looks so good, and sneakers. And she always looks so put together, even in those looks too. We can't forget that Princess D was like a preschool or kindergarten teacher before she stepped into the royal spotlight. And I feel like she always kept that down-to-earth sense about her. And that always translated into her style as well. And I loved her for just who she was. Now, one of the things about Princess Diana too, something that most of us don't have to consider as much, right? The jewelry that she used to wear was a big deal. Now, when you think about these royals and jewelry, if you've ever gone into like a museum, I think it was the Palace of Versailles that I've been to in Paris, where there are certain pieces of royal jewelry on display. These things cost millions of dollars. And a lot of the times, like Princess D was wearing jewelry that cost millions of dollars as well. And we have to think about how her style revolved around those items as well. I never got the sense though that she let those items wear her either. She always had a sense of style around her, that sense of elegance that I just admired. So for Princess D, she's definitely one of my fashion icons. She inspires me to put myself together when I go to Walmart, make sure that my sweatshirt is matching my sneakers when I go on these little errands, and have my hair in place. That's Princess D. But also, when it comes to the formal side, right? Like, I don't go to galas often or anything like that, but I would love to. I would love to get more into philanthropy as I mature and as my life evolves, right? And so when I think about that, it's like, okay, how would Princess D approach this? And what ball gowns look good on her? Especially since we have similar body types with being tall, right? These are the 4 people just based on like my personal style, when I get ready or when I purchase things, who I might think about, or essentially, I guess, I don't know these people, so they can't give me advice, but you know what I'm saying? Like, take fashion advice from. I would love to hear more about you all's fashion icons in the comments. Let me know what you think about mine too. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and please hit subscribe so that you can get a notification whenever I upload more content. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful week.